If you're a photographer, you're inherently a storyteller. Doesn't matter what kind of photography you do, whether it's weddings, travel, street, real estate, everyday life, you're telling stories with your camera. It's an awesome feeling and a great privilege to be able to do so, but it's also up to you to decide what kind of stories you want to tell and how. And for far too long, I was telling pretty uninteresting stories with my camera. And that was because I was doing it the way I thought I should. I was doing it in a way I saw other people doing it, and I was trying to just do it like them. And I started to realize that I wasn't doing anything special with my camera, and even worse, I wasn't telling honest stories. But since I started being more honest with myself and shooting in a way that was more authentic to me, I feel like my storytelling has gotten a lot better, a lot more unique, and a lot more, me. So if you'll allow me a few minutes of your time today, I'd like to tell you how I'm trying to be more honest with my camera and my storytelling and kind of everything that goes around that. And hopefully you come away from this video feeling empowered and encouraged to be the best storyteller you can be with the camera that, let's be honest, you're ignoring right now while you choose to watch YouTube instead. What's up? My name is Walter. I'm a professional photographer and commercial filmmaker based in the Southeastern United States, and on this channel, I am trying to make photography fun again. So if that's something that makes you feel like getting off your ass and picking up your camera after you finish watching this video, subscribe for more crap from me. So let me just kind of tell you some things that I've personally been working on in my photography to make me a better documentarian. These are real practical skills that I've been putting a lot of thought and intentionality into every time I pick up my camera, no matter what I'm shooting. The first is what I've just been calling positioning. Simply put, this is me trying to figure out where to physically place myself in a scene. Should I be right there in the action? Would the story be stronger if I were to place myself really up close to my subject and fill the frame with it? Or should I back up a bit and allow the environment to help tell the story of the subject? There's no one correct answer to any of this. It's all dependent on what's happening in the scene, what your subject is doing, even what lens you're using, and much more. Where to place yourself while you're shooting is a judgment call for you to make in the moment. And it matters. A wide angle lens while you get up close to your subject gives your photo a feeling of intimacy, making your viewer feel more involved in the moment itself. But putting on a slightly longer lens and backing up can make it feel like you're observing something, but not involved personally. Neither are incorrect, and it's entirely up to you to decide where you need to be to tell the story that you want to tell. Think about it like this. When you notice a scene or a moment happening, and you're about to pull the camera up to your eye to capture it, take mental note of the first thing you notice about that scene. What caught your eye first? What made you think it was worth taking a photo of it in the first place? That right there is your perspective. It's unique entirely to you, and it's up to you to portray that perspective through your camera. Place yourself where you need to be in order to tell that story. And don't try to put yourself where you think other people would put themselves. Don't try to tell that story through their perspective. We want to see your perspective because it's unique only to you. The second thing I've been working on lately is timing. Like when exactly to pull the camera in front of my eye and when exactly to actually press the shutter. Now, unless you're shooting on film, you can virtually take as many photos of one moment as you could possibly want on these digital cameras. You can set your camera to the highest burst mode possible and fire off 20 frames in a single second, and you'll probably get the shot. But for a while now, I've had my cameras in single shot mode. That means that even if I hold the shutter button down, it's still only taking one shot. I have to physically press the shutter button again to take another one. And the mental shift that this has made for me has been extremely valuable. It means that every photo I take is actually on purpose. It's made me pay way more attention to my timing. And I'm now looking much more intentionally at my subject and the moment, and I wait for something interesting to happen, something that tells the story that I'm trying to document. Now, this doesn't mean only take one photo of a certain moment, as even the most famous photojournalists in the film days didn't even do that. I definitely still take multiple frames of a single moment when it makes sense. But again, on single shot mode, this means that every frame I do take is 100% intentional, and it forces me to really pay attention to that story. The third thing that I've been working on is actually something I used to be pretty good at, but I kind of lost my mojo over the years, and that is portraiture. When I first got started in photography over 10 years ago, I quickly considered myself to be a portrait photographer through and through. I really enjoyed photographing people and would often grab a friend or two and go to a different location I hadn't been to before just to practice portraits. I used to be really good at posing and directing and getting a lot of different looks, but Over time, as I've gotten to be way more documentary style, I got really out of practice with posing and directing, and that's actually a good thing, at least for my style now. You know, I've started to really hate posing and directing, and it started to feel really incongruent with the photojournalistic approach that I have now, and my brain has been kind of rewired to shy away from posing, and I much prefer to capture candid moments, authentic feelings, and unplanned emotions. But the negative side of this is it means that I've gotten really out of practice with portraits, and portraits can absolutely be a part of a more documentary style, and I'm still practicing that. For the past few years, whenever someone poses in front of my camera, my brain kind of like short circuits for a second because I want to go back to the same style of directing that I did all those years ago, and then the other part of my brain is telling me that anything posed is not a real story, and neither of those things is a correct approach. It's absolutely possible to capture great portraits that are not forced or fake and fit very well into all the other unposed photos that I take. So I'm not saying I have this figured out by any means. I'm just saying it's something that I've been working on and hopefully getting better at. So actually, if you're watching this and have worked through something similar, please feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments. The fourth thing I've been working on is intentionally trying to capture the way something feels, not just the way it looks. The most powerful photos since the beginning of photography have been ones that go beyond the simple idea of capturing a moment in time to show what was going on. All of that is well and good, and is certainly the best starting point. But if you truly want to tell good and honest stories, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to think beyond that. It's one thing to get the lighting right, to edit the colors exactly as they appeared in person, to follow all the correct photography rules. But all of that can fall pretty flat if you're not able to get your audience to look at your photography and feel something. This is one of the hardest things to achieve with your photography, and I miss the mark all the time. I'll be shooting and feeling really good, feeling like, I really nailed the feeling of the moment, and that I really nailed my storytelling on an emotional level, but then I'll get into Lightroom and think, oh, this is kind of just a snapshot. I accurately captured what this scene looked like, but I don't feel anything from it. In fact, I would say most of my photos feel like that. The trick is that no one ever sees those photos. The only ones I put out into the world, either through these YouTube videos, my Instagram, client galleries, my own portfolio, those are the ones I feel like actually told an honest and emotionally compelling story. Which brings me to my second to last thing I've been working on, culling. After a shoot, even if that shoot was just me and my camera on a walk with my family, I take my photos into Lightroom because yes, I'm a Fujifilm shooter who still prefers to cull and edit all of my raw photos, professional or not. I get to decide the pacing of my story. I get to decide which photos are included from that set in order to fully tell the story that I was trying to tell. Over the past couple of years, I've been a lot more selective of what photos end up getting edited and kept and or delivered to a client. I've come to realize that a bloated story is an easy way to lose your audience. Think about the last movie you saw that you thought was entirely too long. The cinematography and acting and writing may have been great, but there was simply too much of it. A tight story that cuts all the fat and keeps you engaged the whole time is simply more enjoyable, and that's a concept that 100% applies to photography as well. So the next time you're editing wedding photos, engagement photos, your own daily life, whatever, cut the fat and include only your best photos that tell the most compelling story that you can tell. And if you're like me and recognize the importance of culling, but also hate how time-consuming it can be, allow me to introduce you to my longtime friends over at Imagine, who are also this week's video partner. I've been using Imagine for years, long before they ever knew who I was, to really speed along the culling process for my photo projects. Imagine is an application that uses machine learning AI to learn your culling and editing style and apply it to your own projects to save you an insane amount of time in your editing process. Like I mentioned in the last section of this video, culling is a super important part of my storytelling process, but when I get home from a wedding with 3,000 photos, trying to cull it down to even a good starting point is quite daunting. So I love that Imagine can take that album in Lightroom and cull it down to maybe 700 potential keepers, shaving off all the duplicates or the ones where I missed focus. And I shoot on Fujifilm, so you know there are ones where I missed focus. And I'm still doing the final culling work by hand. I'm able to take those 700 photos or so and then cull it down even more if I want to and keep my really tight story that I'm trying to tell. But to get from 3,000 to just 700 would take me hours or even days by myself, and it's something that Imagine can do in like 45 minutes. It's awesome. It means I have more time to do the careful, fine-tuned culling of the best photos and then take it from there. And if you don't love editing so much either, Imagine can also help you with that. You can upload a bunch of your own edited photos to the app to get it to learn your editing style, or pick from a large number of creator-provided profiles as a great starting point. So if you do that, Imagine can cull your photos and edit them for you, all in the app before it sends those ratings and edits right back to your Lightroom for you to finish the job. So work smarter and not harder by trying out Imagine to speed up your workflow so you can get back to the things you actually want to do, like playing Stardew Valley, spending time with your family, or taking more photos. Check out my link in the description to start your free trial for Imagine today. And thank you to Imagine for their continued support of the channel. I just realized you can see my trash can in this whole thing. We're going to get this out of the shot. YouTube. The last thing I've been working on to tell the most honest stories I can is to embrace imperfections. If you're a returning viewer of the channel, I am so sorry for being a broken record here, because this is something that I've been preaching for quite a while now, but my mind hasn't changed on this, and it's worth repeating every opportunity I can. The most compelling stories are not the ones where everything is perfect. Have you ever seen a movie where everything was just like really chill the whole time and it was still an interesting movie? I highly doubt it, because good stories have ups and downs, conflicts, resolutions, emotions, and a lot more. Those stories are compelling because they mirror real life. They mirror our emotions and our human experiences. We can connect with them because they feel relatable. The human experience is fraught with imperfections, something that I become more and more aware of the older I get. And I think that's why I've been embracing imperfections in my photography even more. My life isn't perfect, so why would I try to photograph it in a way that feels perfect? That would feel dishonest to me. I love to shoot weddings, but those aren't perfect either. Timelines get shifted, people are late, the food got put out in the wrong spot, the weather isn't cooperating like we thought it would, whatever. Fortunately, I've been mainly photographing couples over the past few years who are not bothered by those things going slightly off plan. I've managed to align myself with people who not only recognize that not everything will be perfect, but they embrace those imperfections as unique parts of their own stories. So, in kind, I try to use my camera to document that. Imperfections and all. It's the most honest thing I think I can do with my camera. So if you've been struggling with trying to achieve perfection in your photography, I'm officially giving you permission to just let that go. Feel free to misfocus, get your horizon line a little crooked, ignore the rule of thirds, whatever you want to do, man, because a photo can follow all the right rules and still be boring as hell. And another photo, on the other hand, can break every single rule imaginable and still win a Pulitzer. There really are no rules other than tell good stories and have a hell of a time doing it. So, what do you think? Have you been having trouble lately feeling like you're not being honest enough as a photographer? Or maybe you've been feeling burnt out or uninspired with your own work and didn't know how to describe it until you saw this video. Honestly, this was a cathartic video for me to make. I script out everything I do here, and I've lost count of the number of times that the writing process has really helped me work through things I've been feeling and struggling with. It's almost like journaling, which is something I say I've never done, but I guess this counts. Anyway, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments, and even though taking the time to respond to everyone is getting increasingly difficult, I do read every single one, and I always really appreciate those thoughts, including the ones who disagree with me, believe it or not. I've got some things in the works that you'll be seeing in the coming months to further foster the sense of community. Okay, foster the sense of community. It's getting the end of the day and I'm dehydrated. We've been building community, okay? I'm trying to foster community. We've been building this in our tiny little corner of the internet. So if you want to keep up with the things that I'm going to be doing soon to foster that community, subscribe for that crap. There we go. You can also like the video, and all of these are things that tell that dumbass algorithm that more people should see it. In the description, you can find links to my presets, my merch, and that affiliate link for Imagine if you'd like to save a lot of time in your editing process. And if you don't want to do any of that, that's totally fine, because I will see you in the algorithm in 6 months.